further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried. BBC project update and change order for Henkel. Tom, you're up.
Well, good morning. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Good. I'll stand up a little bit here. I got a change order for you guys to look at real quick here, and we'll go over that. It's the other direction this time. I told you it couldn't last forever. And I don't have a copy from you, but I'll go off memory here. We got, no, I'm
No,
good.
that's okay.
I want you guys to look at that. I know what it is. There's one section, the top one, I believe, we had to change out the size of some pipe fittings, and it's like $1,300 plus, and people, that's a lot of money. Well, these pipe fittings, they're 18 inches diameter by 12 inches. So what ended up happening was is that the tank guys, and I don't actually remember this, but whatever. When we put up those tanks out there, we had specified 12-inch piping. What got built was 16, and I think they must just have that stuff sitting around, so they used it. I mean, we didn't pay any extra for bigger pipe, but we got to pay a little bit different now because the fitting to adapt it down to the 8 inches that we need is a little bit more expensive. So, in any case, that's what happened there. Then we've had, and this is going to happen throughout the project. We designed the whole project based on the preliminary information from the equipment manufacturers. Now that we're getting the submittal information, which is the genuine equipment they're going to put in place, what we're finding out right now is that we're short a little bit on some conduits for control wiring and maybe some conduit size for loads and stuff like that as we get the official data in. So we've got a change on there. We had to add a few extra conduits, and it had to do with the controls for the main treatment system. They needed several additional conduits for wires that cannot be put in with the high voltage wires. So that's another thing on there. The last thing is we've been going through the building information that we got, the submittal information that we have from the equipment, and our heating schedule. And what we found out was that one of the pieces of equipment, and it's in a special room all by itself anyway, we need to classify that area, I guess what we call explosion proof, so we had to change the heaters out in there from our standard type heaters to a different type heater, and that's what that last thing is. There's a ventilation system on that particular unit, but based on conversations with the product manufacturer, what they don't want to see is the chance for this thing doing any off-gassing, and say in the wintertime, because it's a wall-mounted blower unit, ices up or something like that, and cuts down ventilation, all of a sudden we've got a hazardous condition in there. And the heater sparks off and we lose half that building. So, and it's a good idea, and that's fine. So that was the last change on there. I can tell you that I do have another change order coming the other direction again. So, because as we're working with the equipment manufacturers, again, real world now versus what we originally anticipated, a lot of the equipment manufacturers are coming up with deletes from the project that they don't necessarily feel are necessary for it to work the way it's supposed to work, and some are going to be reasonably good size, so that would be nice. So things are going to go both ways in that one as we fine-tune what the equipment manufacturers supplying. So if you guys want to ask any questions about that.
I guess I'm just curious, normally what's the time involved from when they discover that they need to make a change order and they have to contact, whoever?
It takes about a month.
About a month.
Yeah.
Does that quite often hold them up?
No, what ends up happening is that when it's minor stuff that I know we got to do, I will authorize them guys to do work because I know we got to do it. If it's something major, then usually the nice thing about you guys is that you meet every week. So if it's something major, I will stop them. I'm not going to come to you guys with a $200,000 change order without talking to you guys about it first. I mean, we've had some issues with land out there. That is what it is, and that's the way it goes. But if it's something non-related to what we inherited, we got to definitely talk about it. But the small stuff, and we're bound to have that.
Sure. No, I was just kind of curious how.
No. Yeah, I'll need Stan to just sign it here when you guys approve everything. Let me get your copy back when I'm done.
Okay, because I made notes on it.
Oh my God. That's okay.
your name on that now. I kinda thought you took it back.
Do we have a motion?
Oh, sure. I'll make a motion to approve the change order
It's four.
for $6,584.55.
I'll second the
Increase.
motion. I'll second the motion.
The scribbling on?
Yes, sorry.
I'm sorry. Been moved and second, further discussion. Hearing none, Hoaglander.
Aye.
Powers.
Aye.
Walk, aye. Motion carried. Where do you want me to sign?
Middle one.
Middle one.
Quick update on the project. As we told you last week, we got sanitary sewer service out there for those guys now. The building has been delayed for 2 weeks. It's not gonna show up until, I think, the second week in December. So Henkel moved on to some other structures. They're continuing to keep going out there. The boys at the wastewater plant, the city did a great job. They helped the contractor empty out their sludge tank and get it cleaned out so they're working it. They about got that torn apart, and we'll have that back online next week. That whole project's going good. I have the budget just about finished up. I talked to Jerry Dunley yesterday about water and sewer rates. What I'm gonna do is, when I get that budget finished up, and I don't know, do you guys, I need to work with Valent on this. Do you guys wanna be part of any of that at all? I don't know. I mean, it's their O&M budget that they're gonna have to pay to operate that wastewater plant. And I don't know if you guys care, or if Brenda's gonna run the show on that, or whatever, but, it's going to the city today for once look over, because they're the ones that have to. I guessed on FICA, IPERS, and all stuff like that based on some ratios that I know, but Kathy Penny's gonna get that all squared away. When I get that back, that's a budget I'd like to go over with Brenda and Valent and whatever, because that's the, it's this long line items for operating that plant out there. And again, I don't know,
Is it different from the O&M you gave us way back in the beginning?
it's firmer. I mean, the one number switched around a little bit.
I'd be interested in seeing
Okay.
it all.
Yeah, I'll forward you guys a copy when I send it to the city.
Especially if we're paying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you guys aren't paying it. This is the bill this is the city's budget. So
Okay.
what they'll do is they'll set up their internal budgets for these accounts. They will bill Valent directly every month
Okay.
for that.
So they'll be taken care of.
Yeah, but I just
Okay, good.
didn't wanna know if you guys wanted to understand that. Okay.
Never know, we might go back
Yeah,
and
because we've got that original Heartland thing, so.
Yeah, and Brenda's working on that with the bill right now as far as between, the city doesn't have the means to pay it because they don't have it in their budget right now. So between now and when, no, as far as not money-wise, but they don't have a line item to deal with that. So between now and when the city adopts this budget I'm working on right now, we got this gray area as far as, who's gonna, I mean, Valent's gotta pay it one way or the other, but does it go through you guys first, then Valent, or does it go right to Valent, and we switch the billing around? I don't know.
But, yeah, we have to pay that right now.
Somebody has to.
Yeah.
Valent's eventually gonna pay it in the end game,
Exactly.
but in the interim, we gotta figure it out. It's not gonna be, there'll be a couple $100. If you guys got a budget too, I understand that, and you can't just whip out dollars whenever you want. So I get it, so I'm not sure the best way to do it. And then also, to make sure that everything's fair, the contractor is supposed to be paying for their electrical usage during construction. And right now, there's equipment running that you, Valent, somebody owns, it's not the contractor, stuff, the lift station's one of them, for example. So what we're doing is every morning, my guy is like on the lift stations writing on the run times, and we know how many amps that thing draws, so we can figure out how much power Valent's using for sanitary sewer service. We can figure out how much power they're using for this, and then when it comes down to some point in time, we're gonna rectify this, and we'll back charge Henkel for whatever they should be responsible for. Because it's decent if we can let them guys plug in the walls, because it's more convenient than trying to run cords everywhere, but we need to account for that, and we will. And that's why we're trying to manage what other things are running out there, because that's in their costs. Granted, it's not gonna be tens of thousands of dollars, but every $400 or $500 here and there makes a difference. So if they're supposed to be paying for it, we wanna make sure they're paying for it. So I don't know the best way to deal with that. Usually I rectify that at the end of the project, so we'll kind of see how you guys want to go with it. But Brenda's supposedly working with Bill Bishop on this, she emailed me yesterday. So what I'll do is I'll send the budget to the city today, I'll copy you guys on it, and then there's gonna be a point where I'm gonna probably have to have a meeting with, the city and Valent, and I'll let you guys know that's scheduled too, in case you wanna show up for that and understand what's going on, cause, I'm not sure I'll be there. If Tom Green's involved, then I'll probably be a little bit, but beyond that, it should be just fine, cause it's everything you guys and Luke have seen before. The numbers are firm, and some went down, some went up. Overall, it's about the same price. So, okay, I'll copy on, keep you up to speed on it. You got my email yesterday about the contacts for the
Yeah,
insurance
I
thing?
forwarded them on to them.
Very cool.
I think they wanna come and do a walkthrough,
Sure,
so.
no problem. Otherwise, everything's on schedule. I'm not concerned about anything at the moment. All right, no meetings this week. We'll have meetings next week. If you want to show up. God, it was really heated since you weren't here last week. All right, guys, I will get these signed. I'll get one that Shannon marked up back to you guys. I'll bring a special copy for you this time.
I'll just make my notes on here.
All right, that's it, man.
Thank you,
All
Kelly.
right, you guys have a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You bet.
See you later. Take care.
Thanks.
Yep.
Minutes, I read them, we made a couple little changes that,
I'm fine with them.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
been moved and second, further discussion. Hearing none, Paulus.
Aye.
Hoaglander.
Aye.
Walk, aye, motion carried. Claims. Just curious, Lowell, plot books, 1,275. Now, I take it a lot of people come into the office, buy them and so on. Do you have any left over at the end of the year? And if so, do they refund them or no? That's just our loss.
Yeah. Sometimes if somebody wants an older one, sell it at a reduced price. Kind of estimate, so we got 50 in. That's what we've been doing the last couple of years.
So normally by the end of the year, you get,
We might have, occasionally, one year we ran out, we had to order a few extra, but usually there's 10 or so left.
No, it's not bad.
no, I'm just curious.
How much do they cost? 50.
We sell them for 27. We don't really make anything. Just make the handling fee, buck or so. Some people balk at that price.
The other thing, I see Ray had $500 for hazmat up at Riverland Community College. I was wondering what,
Say last week. He said something about, what, he had some,
Joel, I think those were some back billings that didn't get paid from the last year's training. He went to schedule this year's training, they wouldn't come because still owed him money, and he was under the understanding that it was already paid,
okay,
and I think that's what it was, Stan. Is that accurate, Lowell? Did you
Yeah.
know that?
Yeah, it's from, last year. Hazmat operations, 4 hours, 39 students, to $500.
39 students, and who's we all training, or what's happening, or
Firemen
what firemen?
and law enforcement, some of your EMS people, they all have to have that 4-hour update every year to be
Okay,
on scene of some of these crashes and emergencies.
just curious. Anybody else on the claims?
no,
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the claims.
I'll second.
Moved and second, further discussion. Hearing none, Paulus.
Aye.
Hoaglander.
Aye.
Walk, aye, motion carried. Sheriff Beaver, you have anything today?
No,
What's all the break-ins?
I can't talk about it. But, yeah,
I mean, how many did we have, or?
there was 5 in the county, so, and that's all I'll say about them at this time.
Quite a few others outside around the area?
There was a few, yeah.
I know, Mick said he got some video, I hope that helps you, so.
It has, yeah, it has. Good for him and yeah, probably.
I always thought those were dummy cameras.
No, we've been knowing what you've been doing all along.
No more dancing on the bar, huh? Okay.
Good one.
Item 6, approve annual TIF report.
So this year we have to do every year. Place two sheets and a place for you to sign at the bottom. If it's approved.
Make a motion to approve the annual TIF report, which Barb prepares for us, I'm assuming.
Correct.
I'll second the motion.
Been moved in second, further discussion. Hearing none, Voigtlander.
Aye.
Wallace.
Aye.
Walk, aye, motion carried. Approved fiscal year 2012-2013 annual urban renewal report. We have a copy of that. And it shows all the various,
Again, kind of related with TIF and all the different ones here in the county. It's got the amounts that are
yeah, basically
different
shows,
townships and cities.
when the revenues from the windmills, when those will be paid off, and 2021 is the one from road paving project 09, and 2022 is from 10. So amazing how fast time goes by when you're having fun.
Do you need a motion to approve it?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the urban renewal report.
I'll second.
And moved in second, further discussion. Hearing none, Paulus.
Aye.
Voigtlander.
Aye.
Walk, aye, motion carried. Do we need that signed too, Lowell?
There isn't a place, but if you just want to sign the top, the bottom there.
Bottom here. There we go. Item 9. Approve resolution 894-13 authorizing internal loan to fund urban renewal projects. No, I
Probably
suppose
want to do
goes-
that after the public
Yeah,
hearing.
that goes along with that, so, okay. I guess we can drop down to item 11, approve a wellness contract with Wellmark.
I had just talked to the Wellmark representative when I was at ISAC, and the wellness contract is based on our insurance plan. We get $30 per contract to give incentives for our staff to do mammograms, physicals, and then they get a $50 gift card. And also then we have different wellness programs, like we can pay for staff to take a class at the CRCs, just to encourage wellness. And for each thing that they do, they get 1 point, up to 5 points. And the average of our 80 contract individuals, whatever their point average is, 1 through 5, that's the percentage we save on our premium for insurance. So they'd like us to continue with that. This year, it's kind of a transition year because they're only doing half-year fund, because they're switching from fiscal year payments to calendar year. So they're doing half-year fund, and we weren't sure how involved we wanted to be with that and continue, because a few years it's been kind of hard. And since I was new to the committee, I wanted to find out what was going on with it. And so we can carry over part of our full year allotment if we don't get a lot done the first year, because it's something we need to discuss as far as how to track it. It does take a lot of time.
Time for who? The
Well,
person?
Barb Stilley was tracking it for the county, and then it got switched to Janelle in the auditor's office, and it does take about an hour a week.
Wow, okay.
And we discussed if we wanted to maybe talk to Mork. lady?
Marsha.
Marsha, not Marsha, the one that does,
Oh,
works
yeah.
part-time for you.
Sherry.
Yep.
Thank you. If she would be interested in, since she's here part-time, maybe come in an extra hour a week and have her specifically focus on that as a job duty, and put money behind that to really make it go well and encourage people to use it, so
What's
that.
our participation rate in the county? I mean, do 50% of the employees participate?
I don't know, I have those numbers. That's what we thought, if we had someone dedicated to do it, then it would be more likely to happen. Like secondary roads, we thought maybe we could have them do an annual complete physical and get the DOT physical paperwork done at that time too, and, because it's free, our insurance pays 100% for wellness stuff, so.
What I think we should do, I mean, just have a little discussion on this wellness thing, is that everybody gets a sheet in the county, and they can say, no, I will not participate in wellness, or yes, I will. I mean, otherwise, it just gets,
And I don't know if we can do that, we have to opt in the whole program or not at all. So you wanna do a survey like that and see if people are willing to
okay.
do it?
but what if somebody doesn't participate?
That just lowers our average. So if we've got 10 people that are doing 5s, and we have 80 people, it'll take us down.
Well, you said we couldn't do that.
It's based on participation, but I don't think we can sign the contract saying only like 50 people are gonna participate. If we have-
I mean, this brings it to the forefront of the employee as to whether or not, you know, I want to participate, and yes, I want lower rates. Or I do not want to participate, and I want higher rates, you know?
And
And that's
it's-
basically
yeah.
what it's saying.
It doesn't go to the individual, it goes to the county. So it's us to participate as a county, and then
Right,
we get
I
the
know,
average,
with-
so, I know.
Walmart, but what I'm trying to get at is the employee needs to have this forefront in the space
Right.
that wellness is a good thing,
Right.
and not participating is probably not a good thing.
And I don't know if we can change, because then that would say that we were
Well,
gonna give
what do you have to do
5%.
to participate?
Get a physical, you get a point for taking like getting wellness information and doing a questionnaire after the end of it, like a 5-week program, you have to go to 5 classes, say, and then at the end you do a program, but they also get $50 for every point they get. They get a $50 gift card up to 5. So they could get $250 in gift cards.
Well, I was on that website, on the wellness thing, I was trying to go through it, and there are different things you can do to participate, I mean.
Right. You could do one wellness thing, which is mammogram, physical, all of that kind of stuff. And then you do like a blood draw and enter that information, which is kept confidential. It just goes to another entity that then they just take the information to see if, for them to base if our cholesterol levels are high overall, and in a year and a half it's gone down, then they can say outcome-based wise, yep, it is positive for this county's program to do that. And then the rest is, they call it TAVO or TiVo, and since we don't have that up here, we can have them go to the CRC and take Tai Chi or take a wellness class at NIAC or something. We can,
And this will give us a break on our insurance,
up to 5%,
up to 5%.
based on the average over the whole county of people, and it's only our staff.
We got time, right? I was on the wellness, on the ISAC website last night, and I was looking at all the different insurance policies that, you know, all over the counties, and they're all over the place. I mean, a lot of the counties pay up to 80% of the family,
Wow.
you know, and some counties pay 100% of the family. And that's too distant county. The reason I brought this up is in Prairie Ridge meeting the other night. See, they, over there, they gave them $550 stipend to all employees to purchase their health care wherever. Well, now because of the Affordable Care Act, they've got to become a group. 2 people would constitute a group. Well, Walmart gave them rates. Well, their rates are based on your age. So if the person who's 40 is paying a lot less than the person that's 60. And every year that rate goes up. What's a group?
It's like a bunch of individual plans. it
Well,
sounds like.
exactly. But that's what's happening. And then, so anyway, on the wellness thing, I don't know. I go back to the one county that I know of that's self-funded. Their rates are lower than anybody's around, and they have a fund balance that's in the millions. And what they do, and she explained it at one of our meetings last week, that everybody that's on the plan, they have the blood draw at the courthouse. They do everything, you know, you fast that day, you come in, you do your blood draw, and I think she said they do it for $75, whereas if you go to the doctor, it's $400, you know. And
That's
they
what
do
we did at our,
everything. And
my
it's just
previous
like-
employer, they had it on campus, and you could go in if you wanted to and get the information.
And everybody lines up, and maybe it's something Mitchell County needs to start looking at, because their rates are like $100 a month cheaper than what we're paying, over $100. And they get, and theirs is, their deductible's $500.
Right, and they're not putting all that through their insurance, they're not claims on the insurance for lab work and stuff either. And we have nurses on duty, so, I mean,
Right.
that's what my previous employer, we did that, like every 6 months they would offer it.
Well, I think Home Health, they did it for Greenwood, for one of the places, they went up and took the blood draw and everything, so.
I know Falks does it too, and they get the points based on how well, or if they stay stable, or if they lower the cholesterol, whatever, they get points, and then those points they can put in like purchasing clothing. With the,
There we are,
the
we got something to
logo.
work on. Sorry to take up so much time.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Richie isn't up for another 3 minutes.
Okay. But on that wellness thing, I think that's a great idea, that's a great thing, but I just wish we had a little tighter plan that somehow, and I know those incentives are good, but I don't think people think about it that much.
So I think if we had someone just dedicated to it, and ready, instead of somebody just slapping numbers in the computer or something every chance they get, someone that comes in every Thursday for an hour and goes, okay, I'm gonna think about wellness for this hour specifically.
And you kinda like get your feels going in the summertime when you're healthier. Not in the wintertime when you're laying around.
Around the
on couch
holidays,
potato.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a bad deal. But anyway. Here we go. The time now.
Okay,
So, the contract is actually,
We have to approve it, don't we?
we have to
Yes.
approve to sign it because it has to be turned in by the 13th,
Okay.
but I do not have it with me, so I need to know, should I bring it next time?
well, we're gonna approve it.
Right, I'll just give it
So-
to you to sign.
Why don't you make the motion and
I'll make a motion to sign the wellness contract with Walmart Health Insurance.
I'll second that motion.
been moved in second, further discussion. Hearing none, Paulus.
Aye.
Vote by
Aye.
well, motion carried. Okay, we'll go back to item 5, county engineer. County engineer Brown is here. For next week, can you just jot a couple notes down? You don't need to, we got our District 2 Supervisors meeting coming up on the 5th. And we always have to make a little presentation, and I'd just like to be able to give a little heads up on what happened with the flood and how much money we think that cost us, how many bridges are still out, little of that.
It's about 1.8 million right now.
Yeah, if you just jot a few notes, I don't need a,
I know, I just thought I'd tell you. It's more
a
than we thought.
longer writing up a whole scenario to pass out and this and that, we'll just.
Yeah, I gotta do one for Worth County too. I'll be brief. The guys are out now. When I get done leaving here, I gotta get my warm clothes on and go out to the bridge and shoot some stuff in on, the bridge north or south, east of Statesville there, that we're taking up. The one north of Statesville's done. It was open last week. This one's tore out. The pipe are delivered already. They're laying in the field. Crane's coming tomorrow to drop them in. And I didn't want to have this one set through the winter, so we're struggling a little bit with freezing water and everything like that, but to get it done is probably better. Now, the one on Noble, that's a little different story. I'm still trying to find what I can fit in there, because I don't know if box culverts are gonna work. But I'm still waiting for an estimate back yet from the engineers on pre-flood condition cost. Maybe that's one we put back to pre-flood. I don't really want to do it that bad, but that might be one quick way to get it going again. We'll just see what the dollars come in at. They were gonna get it to me last week, late. They didn't get it yet. I don't know if I'll see it this week or not with the holiday here coming up, but that's where we're at. Other than that, we're still getting all of our snow equipment on yet. We did a dry run, well, not so much a dry run. Last Friday, the guys went out and did their routes just to kind of spot where it was getting slick. So they kind of all run their routes, made sure all the equipment worked. So we're ready for when it snows, but it won't be this week. So. Other than that's all I really got for you.
Addison, they put a culvert or something in, like right north of 360. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Who put a call? Oh, wait.
Howard? I don't know.
360.
It's the county line.
Yeah,
New Haven Road, just
Yep.
north on there, there's a,
we might have put one in. I guess we haven't put a pipe in it for a while. I don't know was it just recent or
it
was it?
looks new.
Is there a patch there?
Mhm.
We patched something there not long ago.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we put it in the flood. If you're talking about the patch, yeah, that's ours.
Just
We did that.
north of Great Boxes.
Yeah, we did that in this flood thing, and that's when they came out and did all of our asphalt patching. They put that patch in a couple weeks ago. So.
Now I notice roads.
I wish I didn't.
Quick question for Rich, has the surveyor been out yet?
He's supposed to be, he said he was gonna try to get there this week. I don't know if he will or not,
Well, I
but
saw him running back and forth with the other,
is he? Okay, so,
before, that was.
right, he was
but
doing
yeah.
that one out there
But
before.
I didn't know if he'd been back and
I
I
asked
hadn't
him,
seen
he was in last week getting some information, so he said he'd be doing it soon to get to locate
Okay.
that property line there, so.
Can I, you talked about your guys having a route, and we talked earlier. Is there any way somebody, when there's a major ice storm could swing through here? And the other thing we need to discuss is how the county's gonna get reimbursed from, just real quick while you're here to, if we can, something for you to think about or some way to handle that.
Well, I know last year, right off the bat, we had to do it because we had so much ice out here. And I think you sent one of the guys through with sand and salt, and they did an excellent job.
And kind of put a dollar figure on it somehow, I don't know how.
Okay,
Because we needed to adjust that, we have to pay operating costs here and over and above the rent. And so what we need to do is deduct that from the operating costs.
just our lot, or
Yeah,
We're not this
The back
end,
side.
right,
This side.
yeah.
north side and down this side here, I suppose,
for
because
snow or just ice, or
both, what you'd say.
If it gets packed in hard, I can't do much with it with the truck plow.
Isn't that part of our lease is to have them remove the snow, but they're not
Oh,
doing it
it-
timely?
Yeah. Within 48 hours.
well, what kind of priority do you want on it? I mean, it could take a substantial amount of time to be pushing snow around here to get it out of the way.
Well, what do we need mostly? Well, if it's snowing and it's still snowing, I don't know that that's, we had that episode last year and we closed in the morning or something like that because it was still snowing and blowing and they weren't recommending any travel. Well, at that time, now you've got the truck, I suppose, if they don't show up, I suppose you could take a swipe through,
just to keep it from getting packed in, and that didn't happen last year. They'd
Yeah.
get here once and leave, and we wouldn't see them.
It needs to be cleaned away from here by 7:30 in
And
the
a
morning.
certain amount of no-shows. There was days when they just didn't show up,
Right.
you know.
And I mean, if it's gonna fall to us to do it, I think we need to be reimbursed for it.
Mhm.
Well, if you figure it's gonna take a little bit of time for a guy to come out here, that slows out his route out there.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I don't know what it would take. I can imagine, you know, what a plow truck could do here is drive through the back end and get up as close to building and and keep pushing it off to the north, but that's not a good idea, cause then it just, you keep piling it up and it keeps drifting in and you keep pushing it north unless you get it way out in the grass. I don't know where you know, where do you wanna push, and then, you know, it's a lot of monkeying around, and that's time off the road to,
Well, maybe what's more important for the sand and salt part.
Yes, that,
So-
We
that,
don't necessarily want them to push it.
and deal with the results maybe a few days later if I didn't get it peeled up. But I've gotta come up with a way to compensate for my time too somehow.
do we,
Maybe Dave and I and one of you sit down with Clovis and First and Wagner and emphasize this needs to be done.
let me ask this, and I'm not trying to push any work off, but is there a possibility of, you've got a pickup now to get one of those salt sanders in the back of that, then you've got weight, and if you need to do an emergency spread, I don't know, I've just thrown it out there, I know we've got the equipment too, but, you know, if it takes a half an hour, 45 minutes monkeying around here, that's
Mhm.
That
quite a
might be
few
kind of
miles
a
out there.
Handy item,
Everywhere
Even in
in the rest of the lots too.
even in the future.
Yeah.
and it gives you the extra weight in the truck for traction. And yeah, that's a good idea. You got sand and salt, right?
Yeah.
But then we gotta have some warm place to keep it, because otherwise the sand and salt freezes into the,
I don't know if they make tarps for them too, I mean, we shoot with chloride, so don't, I mean, there's.
oh, okay.
But your big shop, you'd have a place to park that truck.
Well, yeah, but he needs it more than just, unless it's empty, then you wouldn't have
That
a
would
problem.
probably be the best, keep it empty all the time if I could.
Just put it-
I mean, if you know there's something coming,
Mm-hmm.
You'd have it ready to go.
And this is just after, we're gonna talk to Wagner's and see what the protocol
There's-
will be if they don't come in.
there's ways to
Then we'll
work
do
it
this.
out, I was just throwing that out there as an
Yeah.
option.
Or they hire pollards to sand it when it
Mhm.
needs to be sanded. That's how it happens out at Fox, which is really what the contract said, they would take care of it.
Do
If
you
I
call
understood
pollards,
it.
or does pollards just decide?
Fox calls pollards.
Well, I think when they do their main lots, they do that lot too.
Mhm.
Well, anyway, we got some plan this year.
We can discuss it, I just, yeah, it's,
Right.
I already got one phone call today because of what happened Friday, so who knows what's coming down the pipe.
What happened, right?
Something so minor I wouldn't even consider to do. Our yard got rutted a little bit when we turned around. First time in 9 years it ever happened. Anyway, I'm gonna quit, cause that was just,
You know my story.
So,
there's nothing else.
I guess we need to
We
have a
can
meeting.
talk, let's,
figure out what we need to do here in
You know,
a situation like that.
we have, you know, when we're out, the other option is, and I don't know, depending on the severity of the storm, we have backup trucks. So maybe it's possible that Merlin jumps in it and monkeys around here. We'll see what,
See what
we'll
happens.
see what happens.
Because every storm's different,
Right.
you know,
Yeah,
it seems
yeah.
like, you know, it's just it's those situations where we hate to see ice build, but that's the problem. Once last year, we got
They don't get
Well,
it.
you're on the,
right away,
well, you're on the
it's
north
driven
side of
around,
the
it's packed down.
building here and it's shaded all the time.
Yeah,
It doesn't fall.
And everything goes in from the north.
and then if you don't get, because it was really treacherous when you're walking across. So, anyway,
Okay.
got that settled, didn't we, Dave?
We're coming with our plans for the St. Ansgar shop.
They're still on the pile yet. I did pull them off the pile and looked at them a little bit closer. Worth County extends their happy Thanksgiving to you folks.
Back at it.
I won't see them till after. They get the advantage of
In the first.
being first.
Well, next holiday, you tell them.
Alright, we'll get the Christmas one out of the way now.
First.
Yeah, one complimentary trip.
I don't know if Jared will get moved
Penny.
anytime soon. I know it'd be nice to get it moved, but it wouldn't be the first building in the world enough to Jared to move before.
Well, otherwise, we're gonna have to probably get some sort of vibrator in there, or
Well,
sheep's foot, or
you'd have to
both.
do it anyway. We've got the pull behind sheep's foot, so it's not like we don't have the compaction capabilities. I just know it's nice to get it in a freeze-thaw cycle because it just smooths the ground, but it's not impossible. I think we sheep's footed all that out there before, so.
Okay. All right.
Have a Thanksgiving.
You too. Approval of substance abuse request. Substance abuse, I see, is asking for $1,000.
$1,200.
Huh?
$1,200.
1,200?
It's less than that.
Well, yeah, it is 1,200, huh? Sorry. I stand corrected.
Last year was 1,900. And Betty apologizes, she is homesick. But she did call me this morning and said that they did get the Shop on State grant, and they got the Economic Development grant, and they're waiting to hear from Rotary and Kiwanis. But they've already started, Jay's already started the training, so she'd appreciate the $1,200 to finish out the funding. So I'll make a motion to approve the $1,200 for the Prime for Life to the Substance Abuse Coalition.
I'll second that.
Been moved and second, further discussion.
I think last year was 1,900 so.
And I'm on the Substance Abuse Coalition, we have a meeting tonight, so.
Hearing none, Paulus.
Aye.
Oaklander.
Aye.
Block, aye, motion carried. Items to note, meetings attended.
Who wants to go first?
The only meeting I really had was last night. That was a good one. State of Iowa is doing a number of things I think will be beneficial.
I like the 8 ball. They sent out to 2,400 companies in the 8 ball. They had questions for them to ask, and every answer came back to Iowa. Every answer had, yes, Iowa's a place to go or whatever, and so that's.
Well, last Tuesday night, we had a NACO meeting, community action, and those meetings are simply to listen to reports and approve contracts. And that's what we did. Some of the contracts are up, some are down due to the sequester or something to that effect, and so they're waiting on a lot of other things. Anyway, that was that meeting. Then Thursday evening, went to Prairie Ridge. That's where we got into that insurance discussion. And then our meeting was basically go over and we can read this in our spare time. This is something, market research and business model pro forma, as to whether or not, see, Prairie Ridge is trying to carve out a niche in the Affordable Care Act, whether who's going to do that with substance abuse, and if it's, it's all over the board. Might be better off, they said, to do private pay only, because the block grants are probably gonna go away, or somebody else is going to do them. They're talking with Mercy. This is another organization, ACOs, and I can't think what that acronym stands for. But we did approve sending a letter that we would participate with another group of people to take over that portion Cause they still think I think there's money coming to substance abuse and mental health, but then that would position Prairie Ridge in a really strong position, I guess you wanna call it. Anyway, it went on and on and on, and finally Betty said, can't you just do a letter, you know, and
Summarize
I
it.
think, yeah. Cause everybody was having different scenarios of what would happen, you know, and we wanna lose this $250,000, I think that was what we were gonna sign in for, and it was, everybody's eyes were glassing over. Finally Betty said that I had to thank her afterwards for getting us off that subject, you know. So anyway, that was that, and then last night, economic development meeting, was a quick meeting after the presentation down there. Yeah, so. The big project is still, the meetings are still continuing. They'll be back here in December again, but it's a lot of going back and forth, and time will tell, is all I can say on that. So that was my 3 meetings, plus everything else. Yeah, but
Hey, say I didn't have any meetings last night. Sorry. But I did get a packet from Elderbridge that Agency on Aging, that they're asking for 2015 funding. So I asked Lou to put that on the next week's agenda. This is just their annual report. And the request is the same as last year. We budgeted $78.79, so. And that's our annual report. They're trying to save money and not have them come out and come to all the boards, but if we would want him to. they
Oh,
would.
no, I like this idea.
Yes. So the next meeting, if we could just talk about that then.
Put that down for,
thanks.
yep. Okay, manure management plan updates, well,
Should be 3 of them here. Myron Heeman, section 12, Statesville Township. Gaskill Finisher Farm, section 8 of Stacyville. And Labasi, tip 16 Finisher Farm, and section 23 of Liberty.
so noted. Transfer of funds, note that we, or not we, that transferred 300,000 to secondary roads. Snow removal at the plaza, that has already been discussed, unless you wanna say anything else. Recruitment of doctors for Mitchell County Hospital.
Well, we had that presentation last week with Kevin Romano, I think that's how you pronounce that. He said he would get back to us. He met with the foundation board at the hospital, and the foundation board has agreed to support that idea with $15,000 per year for the next 5 years. And so I saw him last night down at the, thanking for letting us know that, and I think some way in our next budget year and whatever, you know, if we can come up with something, we could surely participate. I see Elderbridge here, and they want basically $8,000 every year from us. We don't seem to have a problem coming up with money that way. And we do know that our positions are getting older, and handwriting's on the wall, they're probably retiring, and we are going to need somebody. I don't wanna drag to Mason City every time I need to see a doctor or something that way, and in Charles City or.
But just for clarification, that 15,000 was out of a 60,000 request, because they're doing it for 2 doctors. It's not 15 of the 30, right? You said their goal is to have 2 doctors.
He says that, that's not per age, he just told me that we need 2,
Okay.
and he didn't say whether they were gonna do 15 per doc.
No, because they were asking for 30, so with the 15, we're not saying that they are giving 50%. Theoretically, they're giving 25% of the request. Possibly. The foundation.
Okay.
If their goal is to get 2 doctors.
Well, I think their goal is right now to get 1.
Okay.
But they gonna need another too, you know, so it's here again, you know, you talk about that county I was talking about, they got 11 doctors on there. You know, and Why? I mean, what's the difference in, I don't know.
Bigger demographics, I mean, is it a bigger city, county, or is it?
Cassup County. It's no secret. Over, they've got 11 doctors in there, you know, and, we talked about that, in that NICO meeting that night, and Pam Wymore is the representative, and Jay, you know, we kinda going down, cause we approved NICO's, healthcare, or their plan for the coming year as well, Mark, and 6% increase. But, and so then Jay was just kinda asking the supervisors there, you know, what their counties paid, and what the benefits and stuff, you know. And we got to Pam, and she said, well, I hate to tell you, the rest of you know, because, what do you, the families pay nothing, they got 313 people on their plan, that's including the independents, you know, how do they do it? It's forced wellness is basically what it is, you will do this, you know, it's not if you want to. And maybe that's what it's coming to, I mean, I don't know.
Well, you get back though to why they have 11 doctors and so on. You know, basically, a number of us put a little investment down in Missouri, and town was 28 miles north of Springfield, and Springfield has the big St. John's Mercy Hospital, whatever. And there was no hospital at this town 30 years ago. And today, it is a multi-million-dollar operation, and they have specialty clinics to who laid the rail and so on. And like I say, it's only 28 miles away from the big St. John's one. And I think a lot of it has to do with still marketing. I mean, you sell yourself and you sell your programs, and
But getting, yeah, you're right, Stan, but getting back to that blood draw.
Yeah.
You know, if everybody in this county has to go to see the doc, and it's $400 or $500 for that physical, and basically the big thing is the blood draw. We have a home health, what group of nurses done here, I think, I wouldn't have a problem drawing my blood, you know? Why couldn't we do the same thing that they're doing over there? That's one of the things they do. Even the whole family has to show up. I mean, I suppose at a certain age, I don't imagine you draw blood out of a 9-year-old for cholesterol or whatever, unless, but it's pretty. But you get that, and it's, well, my wife, you know, Fox River, they do it every year. That's, you participate.
Right. It's part of being an employee.
Just like, got This is the plan over there, and that's what they pay. That's their single and that's their family.
That's what the company pays?
That's what the county, that's what each individual, but the county pays, it's $420 for single and $1,050 for a family. It's $500 deductible, and they pay that first $500 too, that flex money that pays that down. But they're self-funded, and that's what they've got in their auditor's balance is $3 million. So, anyway, on my stool, but I thought it was, I was gonna give it to Pam, she wanted to see it.
Okay.
But, you know, we talked about that a few years ago when we met with those, you know,
From Decorah.
Decorah, Midwest, but they never came back, and,
Sure.
so,
Yeah, they were gonna be quite a bit higher yet than.
but see, we're 75, there's 313 individuals there, but I'm thinking that's total individuals, I don't know how many plans they've got, but what's the, you know, so many counties wanna be self-funded, could be self-funded, but is there a point where you're too small to be self-funded, and maybe should pool with a couple of other counties? We pool with our general liability insurance, you know, and we find that works out really well. You know, the last 3 years, we've gotten credits, premium credits. And we do risk management.
What are the hospital employees paying? I mean, they're basically county employees.
The nurses they pay $15 for single insurance, and then family is, but it's like 900, and they don't get anything towards their family. It's all out of pocket.
Well, see, Sarah Gordon County over there pays 89% of the family.
So that's why it's hard to get nurses, because get younger nurses that have families. That's a big draw, is the insurance.
But, you see, I was thinking about that one day. I was thinking about, well, what if you partnered with other counties? What if you did a pool? And see, this, Walmart administers this, but they
We're through
say,
ISAC. We're through ISAC, isn't that how
Yeah,
we're
we're
pooled?
through
Yeah, we're pooled.
We're pooled already with through ISAC, but we're still not getting big rate.
There's like 23, 25 pounds.
Well, we're cool with them, but they still take us as an individual
group.
group,
Separate
because
entity.
if we have a lot of usage, I mean, we're paying a lot more than what some of these other counties are paying.
Now, if you're in Prairie Ridge, and this is Walmart, these are the rates. If you're 30 years old, and this is the silver plan, this $2,000 deductible, you'll pay $286.11 a month. And the next year, when you're 31, you'll pay $292.16. These rates just, and you're
Doesn't
down
matter
to
if you're healthy or not.
64, you'll pay $756. What's the pool? The problem in this country is the healthcare industry is set up to only insure the healthy people and to be able to kick off the sick people, people who need the health care. And, well, maybe it's time counties went together, or groups went together and actually did a group.
But that's where you get to where people are deciding on their medicine or their food. Or
One
their
gal,
insurance.
well, one gal over there said now next year when they have to become their own group and she has to use these type of rates, it's gonna cost her $24,000 to cover her family.
You can't afford it.
That's not a working
No,
wage after that.
It's not, it's, you have to get a second job just to cover your health insurance, I mean, it's, and I don't know what the answer is, I mean, and yet, you know, you hear all this on the news and media that, you know, the Affordable Care Act, oh, this isn't working, this and that, why isn't it working?
But you can see part of the result of this, though, is that the older people aren't gonna stay with their employer.
For the insurance. They're gonna
Because they can't afford to stay with their employer, they aren't making money, so it basically, in one respects, the employer can continue to hire young people at a cheap whatever. And like I say, the older ones are gonna have to move out, but where are they gonna go? It's not
So they get Medicare eligible.
that's going up
Yeah.
at some point in time.
I don't know what the answer is, but this is what they got through Walmart. Now, why is this plan different than what everybody else gets?
Well, part of the answer, though, really, in a lot of respects, part of the answer is that it's even like us with 70-some employees. Instead of having to do all of the paperwork and that, if we would get just a direct bill, we write a check instead of sending it here, there, and everywhere. You know, a lot of these companies are, the costs are being reduced by, I mean, the doctor fees or whatever are being reduced by a substantial amount because,
Didn't you say last year Prairie Ridge got some money back from the company?
I don't even want to talk about that.
wasn't that though because they were really being overcharged and now under,
I don't think they were. And that's a problem, that's the thing I would like to understand. They just got another check back. All for $187,000. And last spring they got one for $250,000.
well, but I mean,
So is ISAC getting the same thing and then they don't share it with the rest of us? I don't know.
It's a good question to ask,
Is it,
because
are they getting the checks as a provider or are they getting the checks as a
That's mine, I'll let it go.
As a
It
provider,
is
as a-
9:30, it's time for a public hearing on proposed action to institute proceedings for the incurrence of non-recurring debt in the principal amount not to exceed $100,000. Basically, this is a grant to, that we can grant up to $100,000 to the Mitchell County Economic Development Corporation for a project that they need to work on. And we will open the public hearing up. Auditor Tesh, did you have any written comments, or any comments, oral or written?
I did not.
Supervisors, did you have any comments, oral or written? I had none. Does the public want to comment?
What's it for?
Mitchell County Economic Development Corporation.
I know, but
Commission.
what's the project?
You'll have to ask Brenda Dreyer.
But she's not here.
Well, then you can't ask her.
I'm just, it's taxpayers' money. I was just curious what it's gonna be for.
You'll have to ask Brenda.
Well, you guys know? You're given money for a project, you don't know what it is? I'm just,
It's for the planning and designing of the Mitchell County Natural Gas Line Urban Renewal Project.
So it's in,
oh, okay.
That's what it's for. It's for a study. To
Okay.
Urban renewal and natural gas line.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. It was published in the paper.
Oh, it's probably not in the fine print, and, you know.
Yes, it was in
Can't
the
read the
public
fine print so
notices.
good anymore.
it's in the public notice, fine print.
Yes.
section.
Yeah.
And it also states where the money's coming from as
Yeah.
well.
Okay.
And it's not a secret that, Mitchell County that's one of the things that could possibly hold up development in this county is that we are short gas. I mean, if you were a large gas user and wanted I don't know, Mitchell County doesn't have gas, so
For the city of Riceville.
you might get overlooked, so, and
It's
exactly.
woefully under, they don't have enough to meet their needs.
That might get overlooked, you will get overlooked.
Right,
That's what it's for.
so
Okay.
it's not a secret or anything that way, and it's just. And I believe Brenda mentioned too that, we've been told by the state that this is one of the things you might wanna think about doing, and so that's why it came up at our meeting, and that's why we decided, yeah, that'd be a good idea, and it's good for the county. It'll affect the whole county if that, if something would happen, and so. Anyway,
That's what the
it's
director
about.
said last night at the meeting, is that, you need to have all this information, so if somebody's looking, it is enough, well, maybe, I don't know for sure, we would have solid data for a company that would be looking for something that wouldn't have to run and try to get the study done.
It's tools in your toolbox and things on the shelf.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome, Penny.
Anything else? Concerns, questions, and that from the public? Hearing none, we will close the public meeting portion of that at 9:35. We
Put
have,
much discussion. Put much discussion.
Heated discussion.
Heated discussion.
What was heated?
That reminds me from our ISAC meeting, I'd like to thank Lowell for taking minutes, but not taking minutes. One county spends an awful lot of money on their public notices a year because their auditor puts every single comment in the minutes, and it gets really expensive, so they weren't aware of the law of what they have to record.
Yeah, we had a session too, the Friday morning with auditors about minute taking.
Okay, yeah, because the board was talking.
Different ones do different things. Especially like with the resolution.
Sorry, Deb.
Guess I'm gonna have to talk a little about that.
Uh-oh.
Abbreviate a lot, Lowell.
Well,
Use acronyms.
every.
Well, if you look back
if-
at minutes in the past, there was hardly anything written.
Right, you
I
have.
write a lot more than what was done back in the eighties, nineties.
Well, if OMU would just come in all the public meetings, just, tape them and broadcast them, and, people had questions, they could look.
There's places that do that.
And like Stan has said in the past too, you wanna look back and sometimes you just don't know what took place.
Yeah, you don't have all the details, but.
No, you need just enough information, like you say, that 2 years from now, you can understand what's happened, but you don't need,
Storybook.
right,
So thank you, that
You're welcome.
makes a big
Thank you.
difference.
Appreciate it.
still trying to find out who put me on the
Scholarship committee,
scholarship committee.
Wasn't me.
he's on the ISAC scholarship committee, he has to read 30 scholarships. And that's what I'm doing.
Boy, you don't do good at that, Stan.
Must've been Bob.
That was not me. I just read the email and printed it out, I was like, okay, highlight that.
Who's not here? I'll Stan will do it.
Resolution 894-13, authorizing internal loan to fund urban renewal project costs.
Make a motion to approve that.
And I will second the motion.
Been moved and second, further discussion. Hearing none, Hoaglander.
Aye.
Paulus.
Aye.
Walk, aye, motion carried. Let's get back to items of note. Still on E. That was the one foundation from the hospital. I think there was two of them, weren't there?
Well, he just said,
Auxiliary.
Yeah.
no, sorry, he's gonna say.
Well, we'll find out what they're
He
going to
was gonna
do.
meet with him on Wednesday or something.
Yeah. Well, it's probably tomorrow.
No, I thought it was last Wednesday.
Well,
Or is it this Wednesday?
must be this one, you only mentioned the foundation board. That's what I thought it said last night.
Well, then we had last week the WENS discussion, and the thought that crossed my mind is, they mentioned the $7,900, and you might know a little more about this, Sheriff Beaver, than what. But if you're actually having how many people in the county going to be part of this, they're going to have to fill some sort of form out, aren't they? That how do you get that information to me? In other words, what's my email address or my phone number or so on? And that's going to be our responsibility to get that all entered, wouldn't it be?
WENS does that for us.
They
They're
dump,
company
gonna,
does that.
that's going to be part of that.
Yes.
they dump like the 911 database, and they can do.
Yeah, essentially it's turnkey for us. They train us and it's up and running.
Okay,
And they gather all the data for us.
okay.
The one thing I thought of too is when we talked about it is that we do so much with Worth County, and I know Worth County has got it right now for 7,900, and the next step up is 10,000 something. And when you get that next step up to the 25,000 voice calls, goes to 50,000. So we both could have it. So I would propose, if we're gonna do it, to talk to Worth, because that would save them $3,000 and save us 3,000. If we did it together, it'd be 5,000 each to split the cost.
As long as we stay under the 25,000.
No, because our county size, the two of us together would jump us up to the next level,
Okay. What is
So-
the next level, population?
10,000, but he was rounding down for us. And Worth is under, so if we were to put together with them, I think it'd be 18,000, so we would be over the 10,000 one, which is like about $10,000
Okay.
something, and that would be 5,000 each county, so we would both save. They would save 2,900 if we went with them, and at that next level, we both still get the 25,000 voice calls, because the next level you get 50,000. And like you said, if we did different companies, like I was thinking like R.R. Donnelly, if you wanted to, you could have something, like text in a number, R.R. Donnelly, and we could have something for economic development to say, if they had a shift that shut down or a machine that was shut down, R.R. Donnelly would have a number like, say, like Quick Start with their 5 cent off gas coupons. They would have access just to their employees that texted RRD to this number, and they could send out a mass text. It wouldn't be something we would charge them for, but their employees could sign up for it. It would be something economic development could also market as something that Mitchell County offers that other counties don't, so. I've been thinking about it. I
Obviously.
Yes, I think it'd be really good, but I would like to approach Worth and see if they would be willing to go together to do it. Are you,
I think that's a good idea, and I think their experiences have been good over there.
right, and they
You
already are
talk to the
involved.
supervisors, they've had it for a year or 2 or 3, so
Maybe a
they'll be
year.
able to tell you what their experiences are with it, but I think it's a good program. Coming off the floods, you know, was in dealing with Carlton and some of the things that he's dealing with. I think one of his issues was notification.
Yep. How
You
we told
guys tell
people.
me if I'm wrong there,
Yeah,
and this
it
would take
was.
care of that.
Because we're sending it out to them, they're not seeking it, we're gonna say, we sent out a mass text and email this time.
Getting back to that same issue, we had that, declared that state of emergency, that could go right out to everybody that's on.
Exactly. Exactly right.
We're pushing it
That's
to them.
something we had, that's what we was gonna ask Mark about. We never took,
Oh, you couldn't think of?
that.
last time.
We didn't. Are we still in a state of emergency?
Yes.
We would be until all the roads are open, until all the bridges are.
Well, not necessarily, but I mean,
We are officially still in
we
a
are
state
right
of
now yet, yeah,
emergency, but okay, what point in time does that?
until we declare it not an emergency.
But
Well, but I mean,
yeah, I know, but how long can you be? How long does the state of emergency last?
well,
Years?
in one respect, like you say, there should be a timeline, because I mean, people are aware that you can't just continue, you're always in a state of emergency.
But I would propose that we pursue the WEN system with Worth County, since we already do 911 or emergency management and secondary roads, and those are gonna be 2 big users. If we could do that and see, propose to them, they
I
could
think
save
that's
money, and
excellent.
we would save money and get the system up and going ASAP.
How long would it take them to do the system for Mitchell County?
I think they told me 30 days from the time we sign on. It won't take long. And if we want them to come out, they offered that, and they certainly would if there's any, if you want to have face-to-face with them.
And we have the advantage of having a neighboring county that's had it.
Right.
And we already partnered with them.
Right.
No, I think it's worth checking in. I think it's
I
a
agree.
good
For
idea.
50 cents per capita.
Yes.
Just a quick question. What is the connection to this and the 911 emergency stuff and all of the hype you hear today about calling 911 on the cell phone?
Kind of 2 different arenas. This WIN system that we're talking about now, we actually push information out to you. So you don't have to go to a computer, it can come to your phone, landline. 911, you have to initiate that call into us. So this is kind of a reverse 911 type of system, but it's more versatile because it's not just a law enforcement driven type of program.
So
What-
like in New Haven, when the power's out and they got 15 people calling saying, hey, the power's out, they could do a reverse one and say, the power outage is covering Douglas Township, and everybody knows it right away. You don't have to call the neighbor and see.
I understand that, but if I call 911 today on my cell phone, what would happen at the sheriff's office, command center?
Yeah, if it comes into us, which it's getting better each day and it may not, but if it comes into us, first of all, they're gonna ask what your emergency is. And you're gonna be able to tell them, hopefully, what that is, whether it's a car crash, whether you need.
But if I do it on the cell phone or my landline,
Same thing.
so
If you
it,
call 911, you're gonna get the same dispatch.
no. Do they know, are they able to trace my cell phone the same way they can trace my home phone? Okay, so, and this has no bearing on that?
Right, this is a different type of system,
Okay.
that we send information to you.
Yeah, no, I understand that,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's not connected to the
No, it is-
emergency thing in any
it is
way, shape, or
different.
form.
It is different, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, for 50 cents per capita, it's a cheap insurance product.
Believe it is, when we find out we don't like it, we don't have to stay with it.
So do you want to contact Worth County, or do you want us to?
Well, it's a good excuse to meet at Carpenter for lunch.
Okay,
We-
you
I'll
wanna
certainly,
plan
I'll
that?
certainly part of it, Shannon, if you want me to be. Yeah.
Yeah, we should talk to them and see what they think about it.
Good proving ground. Yeah.
Okay, basically, the other thing that we have on here is 9:45 annual meeting with the rural library reps. Looks like the rural library are here. Who wants to be the spokesperson?
I guess I will be the spokesperson. So I left a packet for everyone last week, and hopefully you had a chance to look at it. We are doing some very good things in the county with our libraries. We have a lot of programming going on, and I know that Osage had an overabundance of children attending programming, and they had to move into the safety center next door for some of their programming because they had over 120 kids showing up.
Mm-hmm.
So
After school.
So some interesting things happening. And also, I know Osage is also doing an outreach to a couple of the assisted living centers where they're going in and allowing the residents to check out books. So we're doing some good outreach there. And my library in Stacyville, we focus a lot on early childhood stuff, and we do outreach to 3 daycares and a preschool. And so we're extending beyond our walls. And exciting things happening, and we're seeing increase in door count, people using the libraries, and we're seeing an increase in the number of checkouts at my library. We actually went over 40,000 in circ this year at the Statesville Library, which is an amazing number for a town with a population of 500. So just some really amazing things happening. We're seeing a lot of internet usage and Wi-Fi usage at our libraries. And we did, at our Mitchell County Library Group, propose a change to our formula. And we talked last year at the supervisors meeting about how we needed to implement that technology piece. And so we talked about putting in technology piece, a $5,000 before we implement our formula. And I don't know how familiar you are with the library formula that we use, but it would give each library a chance to have $1,250 for, and basically we could purchase a computer before we implement the rest of the formula that we use. And the formula is based on our supplies and our books and things that we purchase in our libraries. And we were all in agreement about that, to implement that. So we had that tech piece built right into our formula to help, kind of basically really helps the smaller libraries, Wrightsville and Stacyville, a lot, because it kind of guarantees that here's that money for that computer every year. So at this time, we are asking that the Board of Supervisors increase our funding by 4%. And since we're seeing large increases in usage and programming, we think that it's justified, and we thank you very much for your consideration.
And as always, we will put this into the mix as we, in January, work on the budgets. You're welcome again to always sit in on our budget discussions and that. This comes under the 99s, I believe, doesn't it, Noel? And so there's always a point in time that we...
Well, actually, they have actually part of the number.
But I mean... But, I mean, the discussion kind of falls
Right.
always under the
99s,
99s, what we call the 99s anyway. So we'll try to publish that schedule again, you know, like every year, when we meet with the various departments and so on and so forth. And you're more than welcome to, and then we'll see what we got coming up for tax monies and where we feel our balances are and
Can you translate the 4% into a dollar amount? Do you know that?
be a little over $4,000, wouldn't it?
Yes.
4,500, about almost 4,600.
And I do have, Larry Clemenger is sick, but Veterans Affairs got Korean War books for all the Korean War vets. First come, first serve. He got 60. There's approximately 119 veterans in Mitchell County, and their families get them too. So we decided, Larry and I talked about it, rather than 60 veterans and their families getting it, and then it's sorry, he's got 56 to give out, and each library in our county is getting one so that we can direct the veterans that lose out on getting their own to come check one out. So you each will have one, plus the Historical Society to get one donated from a veteran's family. So you guys have that, keep it part of your permanent collection, and hopefully it'll be a resource.
Yeah. Thank you very much for.
Yeah, do you have anybody else have any questions of the board?
I'm a library person, you know that.
One thing I would like to add to that, and the appreciation from all of us, the technology part has, what you've provided us has been fantastic. We've provided multiple systems, and what I like, and when we have our library boards, it comes to us, and the amount of children that we have still coming into the library is just increasing actually, because of these programs and all the work that these librarians do, and that technology piece is a huge part of getting them through the door. So it's more than just books that are being dealt with now, and I really appreciate you helping us fund those efforts.
I agree. I know, Barb, it seems like our children get younger and younger every year, the ones that she's reaching out to. I know I have a grandson that's a year and a half old, and she did an outreach at his daycare, and she said all of the kids were just amazing, and they were little. I mean, this is preschool. So it's, we're...
So that fear that people had of the internet getting rid of libraries, I think the libraries have done a fantastic job of bringing the technology into them. So I don't think that fear is there in the least.
That's always what I've heard is library usage is up. People need a place to go to get that technology and that information,
And it's becoming a social place for all ages. So.
We've become more of a community destination as far as a gathering place, using all of our resources in-house and not necessarily, taking it home.
We're a meeting place. Like I used it when I worked for the village as my office because I had a home office. I would come to the Osage Library and meet all my staff so they didn't have to drive. And plus other people that worked from home that needed just a time to focus on something would use your study rooms. A lot of times, I knew of 2 people that worked from home that would come and use the study rooms just to focus on what they needed to at the time. So it's very well appreciated.
Well, in Riceville, we have the one-to-one initiative, so each kid has a laptop, 6 through 12, and then all the little ones have iPads, but it's not unusual for us to have 15, 20 kids in our little children's space all camped out on their laptops.
On the Wi-Fi.
On the Wi-Fi, exactly.
All the way.
Or in the parking lot. I've driven by at 2 in the morning and people are posting their papers for college, or they'll come in the next morning. They're like, "I'm so glad you had that Wi-Fi on, so I can post my paper."
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it does get used.
A lot of the online classes, you have a midnight deadline, and I am familiar with my 2 daughters. Sometimes it's 11:58.
Yep, and they're posting as long as it's in before midnight.
Well, it's changed a little bit since I
Want to go back?
Some days, Lowell, I think it would be fun to go back.
Do you want to still get the old quilt and the...
We put in some late nights.
Studying?
Get your name.
Nicole Smith.
Okay, thank you.
So, but no, it's
Sorry to recognize.
it's exciting with the technology that there is, and and anybody's got grandkids, or from my, they're just nothing that they can't do. I mean, it's just
Having programs.
It's embarrassing
And
for the old
younger and
people.
younger too. We just recently got an early literacy station for ages 2 to 8. And you wouldn't believe how young those little, and it's, you know, with educational things on it, and those little children just pull up a chair and they take right off with that mouse and the computer, that they don't need that much instruction. And they're not afraid of it.
Yes. The old saying, you know, technology, it's like fire, you'll get used to it.
Yeah. Thanks for all you guys do.
Yeah.
I appreciate the libraries. I spend a lot of
Thanks
time
for all
with
the
3 of them.
libraries.
Anything else for the good of the cause? I think we went through everything.
Jump around.
Good.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'm, I wouldn't mind meeting with Worth County after the first of the year.
I think we should, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking this December, but there's deer hunting and,
yeah.
That's gonna interrupt.
I mean, that has its priorities.
You might be able to run over one on the way out.
Go for
There's
a
a lot of
doe
them
and not
over
a buck. That's all I'm gonna say.
You stop in the lumber yard and talk to Kelly about that.
They have to get rid of the does. I mean, like one buck, there's no difference between one buck and the does.
Thank you.
Yeah, to saving us.
If there is nothing else for the good of the cause, we will stand adjourned at 9:56.
Yeah, you too. No.